it live. I'm here with Geoff from Koine Coffee. He is the man that roasts Spotlight Coffee and has come to demo the Simply Good Coffee Maker.
Yes, and that's exactly what it is. It's a brewer from a company called Simply Good Coffee. The whole premise behind this machine is that you put coffee in, it brews it, you drink it. But this is designed so that when you wake up in the morning, maybe you're groggy, maybe you need that caffeine to get you going. It's very simple. Put coffee in, the water in, press the button, and you've got Simply Good
Now,
Coffee.
this coffee maker is a little bit higher end than your average, Target-based.
It is.
I'm sure they sell a wide range, but we just have a very simple coffee maker. I like my coffee just straight black, unless it's the second or third cup. Then I'll put a little dash of creamer into it. But this coffee maker is in about the $150 range or so.
Yep, retails for $150, and at that price point, you can spend that on a bun, on a Cuisinart, on all kinds of machines that will make okay coffee. The big benefit of this is what you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you put high quality beans in there, ground, of course,
pouring
you're
water
going to get
into the
high
reservoir.
quality coffee, and it will highlight lower quality coffees as well. We do recommend that you use something like Koine Coffee or Spotlight Coffee.
Come on.
So yeah, we're about to demonstrate this brewer. It's got two buttons. It's got a bloom switch. We have it on for today's purposes. The bloom is simply to help a freshly roasted coffee degas. So it's going to put the right amount of water at the proper temperature and let that coffee sit there for about 30 to 45 seconds and then continue the brew cycle.
Now that degassing process, you said releases the CO2. Now what happens if you don't do it? Does it diminish the taste of the coffee or?
So as the water gets down into that coffee, if it's super fresh and there's a ton of gas coming out, that gas could prevent the water from saturating the grounds to get a full extraction. So it's not like it's going to do something bad. You're just not going to get the best flavor out of that coffee if you're not allowing time for the gas to come out before the rest of the water comes
So just an
on.
added feature to get the best cup possible.
And if you're not using freshly roasted coffee, or if the coffee's a little bit older and you just don't want to wait that extra 30 to 45 seconds, turn the switch off. It's as easy as that.
Okay.
And while I'm talking about the switches, I'm a little bit of a geek. These switches are tactile and
Chef's kiss for the switch.
They're just nice. This momentary rocker switch to turn the machine on, which, let's go ahead and do that. Just feels nice. Everything about this brewer is simple and easy to use.
Pretty small and compact too. It's not going to take up a ton of counter space.
Yeah, it fits nicely underneath kitchen cabinets on your countertop if that's where you like to store your brewer. It's very lightweight. It's easy to transport if you, like me, and you take your brewer with you when you go places. And I do prefer a brewer that has a thermal carafe, but the idea behind this brewer is you're brewing coffee to consume. You're not brewing coffee to let sit on a hot plate for hours where it keeps cooking it and you get those less desirable flavors. So this warming plate does stay on for about half an hour after the brew cycle is finished, at which point this light will turn off and it'll stay on as long as the warming plate is on. Yeah.
You recommend about, would you say 9.5 grams per cup of coffee?
Yeah, so we're using 45 grams of coffee to go with approximately 5 coffee cups. This is
Start with a little hand grinder, and
yeah, you can grind it by hand. We do recommend that you grind fresh unless you don't have a good grinder. If you have a whirly blade grinder, you can use it, but what it's going to do as it chops up the coffee beans, you're going to get some boulders, you're going to get some powder, and then you're going to get some stuff in the middle. It's going to really muddy up the flavors of that coffee. You're not going to get clarity. Not a necessity, but we do recommend weighing because volume is not an accurate measure when coffee or where coffee is concerned. If you have a darker roasted coffee, it expands more. And so if you're using volume of any kind to measure that coffee, you're not going to get the same amount of coffee in your brewer.
I mean, I'll be honest, in the morning, I just, well, it looks about good and I hope for the best.
And that's fine because coffee ultimately is about preference. How you like coffee is how you like coffee, and I fully support that. But
there are ways,
there are
simple ways that
ways.
don't take a ton of time to get
Yep.
a better
Yep.
cup.
And you can always, dose it the night before, so that you just
Oh yeah.
take lid off a jar, dump it in, and off you go. And I'm always after consistency because I'm usually tasting coffee as a comparison or to evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm not making it the same way, it's really not a very good evaluation. So it is past the bloom cycle. It's now on to that brewing phase. And this brewer does keep coffee at the Specialty Coffee Association recommended temperature range of 195 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. That will produce the ideal flavors from the coffee grounds. That temperature range is going to keep the flavor right where it needs to be.
And this drip mechanism too is a little bit different.
Yeah, the spray head
brewer.
is designed to let that coffee disperse over a wider area.
So it has several holes that it drips down from instead of traditional model. It's just one hole that drips right in, which, like you said, helps saturate all the coffee.
Yeah, there's plenty of times I've brewed coffee on somebody's Mr. Coffee or bun, and then when it's done, I take the basket out and I show them coffee grounds that aren't even wet because the water just shoots out in one spot and drips through and never touches the whole thing. That is another feature about the brew cycle on this machine. And as it's dripping out, one more feature that this brewer has is a drip stop. So you can turn that off, which I don't recommend doing before the brew cycle, because if you're brewing a full pot, you turn that off or you start with it off, it's just going to fill up and fill up and fill up. And because it's a Simply Good Coffee brewer, it's just designed to brew coffee and not think for you, it will just
I have to think for myself?
You do have to think just a little bit, just a little bit.
Thanks.
But what you can do, again, this is just, if you feel like it, is take that lid off, just give a little swirl.
If you're a super coffee nerd like Geoff.
Yeah, so you ensure a level bed of coffee.
Your knowledge
slides right
is
back
vast
in there.
and deep, my friend.
Turn that brew stop open. And
get it all.
There you've got a very simple, efficient, and tasty pot of coffee.
Try some here.
Would you like to try some, sir?
I would.
Let me turn that drip stop.
Try some more. I already have a little bit. Freshen me up.
I'll freshen you up. Don't spill it. All right. Simple, tasty, the way coffee should be.
Good. Simply good.
Simply Good Coffee.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers, mate. Perfect temperature for baby
for my
lips
little baby
here.
lips. I can't handle hot things.
So, as Sean mentioned earlier, this brewer is available through Koine Coffee or Spotlight Coffee. Just shoot us a DM or message on any of the platforms that you see this video, and we'll get you hooked up.
Thank you, sir. Until next time.